Hello everyone, my name is Nicola Favretto and today I will share some perspectives on the impact of the ILHAM-EC project in the University of Leeds, which is a partner of this project and which is the institution to which I am affiliated. And particularly, I will focus on how the project has improved the educational system through new teaching and learning methodologies and material. Now, before we start, I must admit that I have some contrasting feelings today. On the one hand, I feel happy for having the opportunity to share the perspectives of the University of Leeds and my personal perspectives with you. And on the other hand, I feel sad for not being able to make it to Cairo today and to get to interact with each of you in person. And throughout the project, I got the chance to meet many of you. Anyway, it is what it is, and thankfully technology helped us to share this presentation even when we cannot travel. And in a way, I believe this is an example which is relevant to the theme of my presentation, which is about improving the education system where technology is a key part of the innovative tools that are being used. As a brief introduction to this presentation, I will keep it really simple. I will present the new teaching material that has been developed actively by the University of Leeds. I will then move on the new teaching methodologies that have been shared with our project partners. And then I will close with some perspectives on the intercultural aspect in teaching that I think came out very clearly and strongly in this cooperation in this project. So, first of all, as an introduction, I want to stress who is the beneficiary. When I was preparing this presentation and I was thinking, what were the benefits for the University of Leeds from doing all the activities we did? And I came to the conclusion that basically the benefits were mutual. This project, I believe that it gave us the appreciation of how our expertise can be combined with the expertise of the project partners. So it has been generating a constant mutual learning that will open up new pathways for collaboration in the future. So it's a bit like in this photo that I included in these slides. We are working together from different sides and keeping the central stone together through our shared efforts and energy. Now, on the development of new teaching material. In the project, Leeds had the opportunity to make a productive use of its own existing teaching material, which has been, of course, adapted to the learning needs of our project participants. We did this by contributing directly to two mobility activities, which was the delivery of a first workshop in Leeds, and then we've been invited to replicate the workshop, and so we delivered a second one in Sassari. And these are two photos from the workshop in Leeds. On the left hand, you can see a mixed group of people. Some are the colleagues from the University of Leeds, myself, Professor Andy Dougal, or Dean of Environment, Dr. Stephen Whitfield, and Professor Lindsay Stringer, with some of our PhD students and then some of our Egyptian participants. And we were lucky enough to have a sunny day to take a nice happy photo. As you know, in the UK it doesn't happen every day, so we were quite blessed. And on the right hand you see one of our meeting rooms in the department. There are various things that I believe worked quite nicely in this in the delivery of these mobility activities. Well, first of all, as I said, the use of the new teaching material that we have developed, but more importantly, the human interaction, getting the opportunity to know each other and to appreciate the enthusiasm of our project partners. We had a very friendly time throughout the workshop and even outside the workshop room. And this had an impact. This has resulted in feeling more involved with the project and more motivated to deliver. And on the side of the workshop, lectors or visitors had the chance while they were in Leeds to connect with a wider range of interdisciplinary colleagues which are outside the ILHAM-EC project. Therefore, this maximized their learning and networking opportunities during the travel. Obviously, there were also some difficulties that we had to face. I think the main one was mostly logistical. Many colleagues from Egypt unfortunately missed the opportunity to attend the meeting, even if they were planned to, due to bureaucratic constraints. They were unable to obtain a visa. And this is a small practical problem which shows that this type of international collaboration between Egypt and the UK and other European partners does involve some practical challenges, and these challenges are not always easy to solve or fix. But despite this, we have managed in the end to still advance with the project and create a solid work group, which is what was most important. And still on the new teaching material, we have shared new learning methodologies, topics and content with our partners. And all the slides, in-class exercises and labs exercises, including the answers, have been shared with the project partners. So I believe that you all have access to this material, and this material can be integrated in your courses and used according to your needs. And some of the examples of the material that has been produced are on the theme of common property resource management that was led by my colleague Stephen Whitfield. And topic number 2, material on the economics of land degradation and sustainable land management. And this was the part of which I was directly in charge, so I can tell you a bit more about this point. On the economics of land degradation, we just for the teacher training materials that we used in the workshop, we developed a total training time of about 10 hours. And these 10 hours included some videos, some lectures, some in-class exercises, and some labs where the participants were presented with a problem, with a scenario, an exercise, and they had to solve it. In one case, through the use of a software that was provided in the lab. Specific teaching material was shared on the use of cost-benefit analysis and multi-criteria decision analysis, or MCDA. And these are tools that can be used to assess, value a range of economic and qualitative values that we attach to the environment, and that therefore allows us to make informed decisions related to land management strategies, policies, and practice. And again, all of this material has been made available to the project, so that is something that can be used by the project partners in the future. And here I would like to stress on the innovative aspect of the teaching material that has been shared. I think that the teaching pattern of our new millennium must be accompanied by research practice. It's not just about teaching concepts as we used to do in the past, but the effectiveness in teaching can be supported with research. And what we did here in the project was to transform research findings into innovative concepts, which are then utilized in the classroom. And an example is when I said in the earlier slides that we provided material on multi-criteria decision analysis. This material was entirely based on my research that I've carried out and developed in the past years in Botswana as part of the Economic of Land Degradation Initiative. So, this exercise gave us the appreciation of and some knowledge of the difficulties in transforming research into practical application that is, in the end of the day, a catalyst to closing the gap between the researchers, the teachers, and the students. And we gave an example of how this gap can be closed. And again, this is very important nowadays because the development of formal research translation into teaching is pretty much demanded by universities, where teachers are expected to utilize their research in their lecture space. Now let's talk about the new teaching methodologies. During the project, we had the chance to introduce the project partners to new techniques for teaching and learning, and we trained them to teach and use the new material that has been developed. One example of these new teaching methodologies is the tragedy of the commons games. Again, this was delivered by my colleague Stephen Whitfield. And the tragedy of the common game is basically about setting a problem so that students are able to come up with the solutions to the problem themselves. Another methodology on which we have delivered is video scribing. So this is an example of a screenshot that I took online. Video scribing is about creating a video clip in which the recorder is the teacher, records the process of drawing on a whiteboard while using audio comments. So the final result is synchronizing the drawings and the audio feedback. So essentially providing basic lecture information in a simplified way, and someone making a cartoon of what we are saying for a more visual, direct way of sharing the key messages. And third example of innovative methodologies was the development or the sharing of different tools and platforms for remote international teaching and learning. So we have, as University of Leeds, we had the chance to also learn more about this aspect. And I believe that in one of the mobility activities when our Egyptian partners visited us in Leeds, they have met with our blended learning enhancement officer and teaching innovation support service manager, where they have discussed in detail about the online learning aspect. And now to conclude, I would like to stress on the intercultural perspective in teaching. I was thinking overall, above all of these activities, what was the great added value of working together through this project? And I thought that this in a way gave us a push, a drive to reinterpret our didactics in an intercultural way. Intercultural, and by intercultural education, I mean a way of contributing to build and develop an intercultural thought in our learners. A thought that is critical, that is a complex way of thinking, that could help manage the contradictions of reality. And in a way, the project has allowed us to identify methods that can be considered more suitable for teaching and learning through an intercultural perspective. And these, in reality, are methods that prefer interaction, role-playing, as in one of the examples I gave you earlier on, the use of workshops. And on the latter point, in our mobility activities, we indeed used workshops as a knowledge constructive path, a process in which the knowledge is not just transmitted by the teacher and acquired by the learner, but it is built up by the teacher and learner together. So on the intercultural perspectives, I think I would like to close by stressing that overall, the great added value of this project was that it got us exposed to a different culture and to a different academic context by collaborating between two worlds that in a way are different but are also close to each other. And that to me was a really great learning experience. So I thank you very much for your involvement and excitement throughout this project. And finally, I thank you for being here today. And I hope you enjoy the remaining time of your workshop. Thank you very, very much.